I watched this 4-hour documentary the other day, and by the way, the version you just saw is an abridged version. This lasted about, I guess, about an hour. And there are 3 other hours, including all kinds of other terrific stories, so I urge you all to watch both nights. I came away a believer in this approach. There was much about the decade that I had forgotten. For example, I had forgotten, if I ever knew it in the first place, that the Justice Department seizure of Elian Gonzalez may have played a role in Al Gore's defeat in the election that was so close anyhow.
Me too.
I did not realize that. Stories are well told about the 9/11 attacks. The Thailand tsunami is well featured in the documentary as well. And of course, the Hurricane Katrina story. And I also thought the Enron debacle was extremely well told in the documentary too. Here on our stage is a living representation of the variety of events that happened and the personalities who came into our lives in the decade of the 2000s. From the Elian Gonzalez story comes the man who rescued him from the sea, Donato Dalrymple. From the world of television is Richard Hatch from the summer of 2000, star and winner of the first season of Survivor. From the world of technology comes one of the engineers of the iPhone. From the hell of Hurricane Katrina, John Keller. And next week, Sharon Watkins, the woman who told the world about the Enron mess. Also welcome Jane Root, the executive producer of the 2000s. And we'll get to all of them with some questions. I hope we'll answer some of the questions that you have. And if you have other questions, there will be an opportunity very soon for you to ask your questions. There will be people roaming around with microphones. So raise your hands and I'll call you if you're nice to me. Donato, it's been 15 years now since your brush with fame. How did your life change in the immediate aftermath of the Elian Gonzalez story? I mean, my impression is that after that terrible day when they raided the house and seized the child, for you, for all intents and purposes, the story was over. Was it? What was your life like in the days, weeks, and months that followed?
Well, you know, the media backlash, that was really hard. Most people don't, excuse me, they didn't know my personal life before the Elian story. Back in the 80s, I'd done missionary work in East Africa, in Europe, and I'm a people lover.
Did they think you were some kind of a bad guy?
Well, I think I was on television most of the time. I never heard the stories. I was actually being asked questions, and I didn't know what people really thought about me, what they were saying about me, and what the media were thinking. They thought that I was a media hound because there was other stories about how did you get into that famous photo in the house. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that you